Hey guys, I'm back and I'm going to share my labor and delivery of our fourth child, our daughter Elamana. She is about 7.5 months old. She was born 21st of January this year. And her birth story is my personal favorite because it was so easy and different. Elamana, I was having contractions like all my other labor and deliveries for about a week before she came. I had she was born on a Monday. On the Saturday and the Sunday night, I had episodes where the contractions would come and it lasted about 6 hours and then it just stopped. And then the next day it happened again, 6 hours, and then it stopped. Monday morning, Meko got up about 5, and I was having contractions since about 2, but I could sleep through them, so I slept. Once he got up at 5, I couldn't sleep anymore, so I just got up and I was like, oh, this is nothing. It's just gonna fade off by itself. So they were getting a little bit painful. So just to make sure they were real or not, I got in the bath, because if they're not real, the bath should relax you enough that they stop. So I got in the bath and I stayed there for a good like 3 hours. From about 5 o'clock to about 8 o'clock in the morning. It was fine. All my kids were asleep. At this time, we still lived with my mother and father-in-law, so there were people home. And yeah, I got in the bath and I was turning one side to the other, and I would just feel the contractions come. I can't remember the timing of them though. They were still far apart at this point. I'm gonna say like every 10 minutes. I was timing, but I forget. I'm gonna say like every 10 minutes. So in the bath laboring for about 3 hours, and I called my sister because I was messaging Meko, but you know, he was in work, he didn't have his phone on him. I was messaging my sister and I told her, like, I'm in the bath, they're not stopping, they keep coming and they're getting a little bit more intense. And she's like, you have to get out, you have to tell his mum and dad. And I was like, no, I want to wait just in case it's not it, because I've had false labor for the last 2 nights, so I just wanted to wait it out. But his mum had an appointment that morning and she had to leave about 8:30, so the only way I would get to the hospital was was by his mum. So I had to wake her up and tell her that I was having contractions, and she said she'll take me to the hospital. So I called up the hospital and I told them that I've been having contractions since 2. However, I'm really nervous because once I get in established labor, you know, everything goes really quick. And she's like, of course it does, it's your 4th child, she's gonna fly out. So she was so lovely. She just said, come down when you're ready, no rush. Where we live now, we're about 15-20 minutes away, so that scared me more, the drive to the hospital. And my mother-in-law was driving, so she's a slow driver. So yeah, I was getting contractions on the way. Still about 10 minutes apart. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. By the time we got to the hospital, they just let me labor. They put me on the monitor. I was in my own room, which is, I don't know. I wasn't in a birthing room. It was just like a triage area, I guess, in the birthing unit. And I had my own room, and I had a really nice male midwife and a female midwife, and they hooked me up and they just let me get monitored. I stayed there for about 2 hours. Meko by this time was on his way. He got to me just before 9. And I was getting contractions that I like really couldn't feel, but they were showing up on the monitor and they were coming about every 5 minutes. So I wanted to get up. They also needed a urine test, so I went in the bathroom, I did a urine test. I think that was to check for strep B. Oh darling, okay. Yeah, did the urine test, and then it's like her weight after my bladder emptied, the contractions got a lot more intense. They're still far apart, and again, I just wanted to do everything in my power that I could to hurry it up. So I had my AirPods in and I listened to one track continuously on hypnobirthing, and all it said was pretty much repeated, just imagine your baby coming down. And she was breathing in and out on the track, and I breathed with her. And I just spread my legs out, held onto the end of the bed, and I just swayed my hips back and forth. And I did that for a long time, for over an hour, before they came and checked me again. I can always know when they check me where I am. Like when I went in with Zipporah, I got checked and I couldn't feel the nurse's fingers, and I was 8 to 9 centimeters. When she checked me with Alamana, I felt her and it hurt, and I was like, oh, I'm nowhere near. She's like, have a guess. And I said, I'm like probably 3 centimeters. And she said, you're 4.5. And she said the good news was that I was allowed to stay. And then she asked where we wanted to go, and I told her, like, I've heard so much good things about water births. I've had a lot of friends who have given birth in the bath, but I was scared. I don't know why I was apprehensive about it. But it's the best thing that I did. So she said, all right, hold on, let me just go check if there's a room with a bath available. So she went out, she came back, and by this point I was getting a lot of back pain when I had my contractions. Because they were monitoring me for 2 hours, I had to lay on my back or on my side, so I was getting a lot of back pain. So yeah, I think I was definitely having back labor. And then when we went to the room and we got in the bath, oh my gosh, like it was the best feeling. As soon as I got in the bath, my back pain literally went away. I was still getting pressure, but actually it felt, for a while, it felt like my contractions were just tightening. Like I didn't have pain, like low down, like period pain. I didn't have anything for quite a while. I was just relaxed. Yeah, so that lasted a little bit. We got into our room at 12. And she was born at 4:10. So I was in the room. I asked for some gas because it started to get a little bit more intense. So for those of you who have had gas, you know that, and it's worked for you, you know that it gets you high. So just being out of the bath on the gas, I'm high, right? And like, I love that feeling. Like I really look forward to it during labor and the birth. So I was high. And then if you add the bath on top of that, the relaxation, you are just put into another kind of high. And in that bath with the gas, and I had my phone playing right behind me, the hypnobirthing, and I was just like in this world where I was with it, but I honestly felt like my body was just floating. I could not feel the bath. Like the bath, it wasn't that big. It was like a normal bath. It was just an extra long bath. Like I could put my arms, I can't even see. I could rest my arms up on the side, but when I laid down, I couldn't touch the bottom. But honestly, I felt like I was just spread out like that, and like I looked like a starfish. I felt like the bath was so big. I felt like I had all the room in the world. I was so relaxed. Like I said, no back pain. But I probably looked like I was off my face to the nurse and to my husband, but I was in my own world, and I was really coping really well compared to my other pregnancies. With every contraction that I had, the pain started to intense in my front of my stomach and down, you know, around your ovaries and your lower uterus. It started to intensify. And with every contraction, I could feel her moving down. Like I knew where I was, and I would tell the nurse, I'm going to start pushing. I'm going to start pushing. And she didn't check me. She just said, go with it. Go with your body. She was really cool, really young. And I felt like she really respected that I wanted to try do this natural, apart from the gas. And I felt really confident that she allowed me to just trust my body. And I let go and I trusted my body. And I started moaning, and that sound that you make, that primal moan, that hum that you make, really in the beginning, that's when I'm just about to push, I start making that sound. I think that's when I go into transition. And while I'm doing that, like it's a really loud hum while I'm on the gas. So I've got the gas, I'm like, and that just, doing that hum, I just push a little bit and that starts to break the tension of the contraction. And it felt amazing because I wasn't feeling the contraction because I started to push. And I just said to her, I'm pushing. I'm pretty sure I was holding Meckle's hand. My head was submerged back into the water completely. Like, I was laying like that, and the only place that was, the only part of my face that was out of the water was the gas and the air. Even my nose was submerged in the water, and I was just like this, and that is how I pushed her out. I know it must have looked completely insane, but it felt amazing, and it was so quick, and she was born. They said I went, well, on the paperwork, because she didn't check me, she just wrote fully dilated at 4 o'clock, and the baby was born at 10 past. So again, the only thing that I'm always scared of ripping, like anyone has their doubts about ripping. And normally what I do is, sorry, this is going to be TMI, I like hold where I'm hurting when you're pushing a baby out. I held the top of my vagina because it was sore. So say this is the top, I just put my hand right here and I applied some pressure while her head was coming out, and they all thought I was like pushing her head back in, and I'm like, no, I'm scared I'm gonna rip. I was saying that in my head because I couldn't vocalize it because I was so high. So I was just holding like the top of my clitoris up here while I pushed her head out, and she came out so quick and so fast, and it was amazing. I didn't get skin to skin. They took her out pretty much straight away. Like, I gave her a kiss, and they took her out pretty much straight away. And then I was so relaxed, and then the nurse was like, okay, get up, you have to walk to the bed, we can't deliver the placenta in the water. And I was like, what? Like, I was in, Elamana came out and I was still in so much pain, like so much pain. And I had to get up with the umbilical cord hanging out and those massive steel scissors clamped, and I just held the scissors and the cord in between my legs and waddled back to the bed. They jabbed me in the leg, and that shot helps you deliver the placenta. And that, I was just in so much pain until the placenta came out. Even after the placenta came out, I was still in a lot of pain, and my nurse literally, say this is my stomach, she was like doing CPR on my stomach, just pumping me out. Like, that's the hardest anyone's ever done it to me. But after she finished that, it hurt, but I felt so much better after she finished. So yeah, she was born, what time? Yeah, 4:10 on 21st of January 2019. She was my smallest baby at 7 pounds 11 ounces, and she was the shortest. I think she was 48 centimeters. But this was by far the best labor and delivery because I didn't go in with anxiety. I was so relaxed and I just trusted my body. It took me 4 times giving birth to be able to trust my body, but I'm so happy that I went down that route, and I'll definitely go down that route again with the baby that we have now. Definitely aiming for another water birth, and I just loved it and highly recommend it if you're able to do it. But yeah, that's about it for now, and that's Elamana's birth story. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Follow us on Instagram at Whaeaonga Family, and I'll get back to you. See you next time, guys.